Hello, and welcome to Griffon Update. I'm Micah Cummins.
And I'm Brent Rosenauer. Griffon Update is our student-produced digital magazine show bringing you news, sports, and information from Missouri Western State University and the surrounding region.
During our show, we will present an in-depth look at the people, places, and events that make Missouri Western and the Northwest region of Missouri a great place to call home.
On today's show, we will dive into the sights and sounds of the various offerings by the School of Fine Arts.
We will also celebrate the culture of different Native American tribes and join campus security for a slice of pizza.
But first, we have a special treat for you. Earlier this fall, Missouri Western unveiled a new sculpture at the entrance of campus. Titled The Next 100 Years, this 12-foot-tall griffin commemorates the university's past and looks forward to the future. Executive producer Jenny Swope sat down with Missouri Western's art department, as well as the sculptor herself, to see exactly how this griffin came to life.
So here are some fast facts about what we call the Centennial Sculpture. In that street, Mitchell, we get about 28,000 cars a week. And for the year, that equals 1.5 million. And so this will be a very exposed part of our university, I think, in a very positive sense. This is going to be a monumental piece of artwork on our campus that will be seen by over 1 million people in any given year. And for a town of 77,000 to have this piece of artwork exposed to that many people is a significant thing.
Dean Willenbrink first came to us with the idea of commissioning a sculpture to help commemorate the centennial.
It's a wonderful idea. It's something that has been done all through the ages, really, to kind of commemorate a big event like this. And it was really a great idea to kind of put a call out there for not just somebody from campus necessarily, but kind of somebody else's interpretation too, because the reach of Missouri Western is much further than just our local area. It's much further than that.
And so we had several requirements. We had a minimum height in mind, and of course the topic, the theme, should address Missouri Western's centennial and sort of maybe even reflect the core values.
We looked at a lot of proposals, and we were looking at the artists who submitted them as well as the proposals. We wanted to make certain that the individual that was chosen had the qualifications to be able to pull it off.
One of the ideas that I really wanted to do was to create this griffin. And griffins are kind of strange mythological creatures, but they're very wild. And then I found, shortly after, maybe a month or two later, I found the application for Missouri Western's call for art. And I did some research, and I said, oh my goodness, they are the Griffins. They're the home of the Griffins. This would be perfect. I've already been thinking about this. I've already been dreaming about it. I'm gonna go ahead and just pitch this idea and see where it goes. I used a bunch of mat board and cut it up into a bunch of pieces and kind of created this creature that was in my brain.
The facets to hers was what really, I think, drew people to it. It has kind of somewhat of the origami kind of feel to it, but then, there's these different planes that catch the light differently.
It looks different during different parts of the days, which is a really interesting aspect of sculpture. I talk to my students how time has an effect on the way we view sculpture, and so a different time of the day, it's going to look like a different sculpture.
It really looks like it could move, but it also looks very firm and solid. So I think it kind of captured everything we were looking for in that one piece that way. So
the moving day and the transportation day of any sort of artwork is always kind of a day of stress and anxiety. But it was fantastic to see it up there on the pedestal. You could just take a step back and whoa, this looks stunning, and it still looks pretty big.
Well, I think the sculpture is really exciting. It's striking.
I'm always amazed, that the alumni and the people that work here are just so knowledgeable and can always come together on a project like this and pull it off.
It's a beautiful mascot for a university because it stands for where I think all universities want their students to go, is to have this intellect and have knowledge, but to be courageous and to be brave and to be really strong in what they know and in what they believe.
The sculpture is already becoming a fixture for those looking for photo ops on campus. Check it out in front of Eater Hall and the fountains.
While Missouri Western continues to celebrate its 100th celebration, another group recently celebrated its much older culture. The university hosted a Native American dance performance to celebrate their heritage.
6 students of the Haskell Indian Nations University came to Spratt 101 to showcase their cultures and moves with the students of Missouri Western, using the power of dance. The students were led by Haskell alumni Jancita Warrington, who explained that the powwow dancers were there to share.
Oftentimes people think that tribal culture is a closed culture and that it's something that we don't want to share. But it's very important to note that we have cultural and social dances which are meant to share and educate and celebrate different things. And then we have ceremonial dances which are not meant to share.
The students explained a little about each of their tribal heritages.
Her style of dance originated from our people as Ojibwe. And her style of dance was said to heal our people. And that's a medicine dance right there.
And then performed a dance that was important to their tribe. Some of the dances were meant to convey the power of a warrior, while others were to honor ancestors or to heal the sick. One of the dances can only be described as the original chicken dance.
It's to honor the people and to honor the chicken dance originally, because the chicken dance were almost killed off by a slaughter for food. In return, we honor the chicken dance, the chickens, you know, for them to provide for us and everything.
The event was put on by the Center for Multicultural Education, who have had students from Haskell University visit Western in the past, with the hopes that they could help to open the minds of our students to the culture of Native peoples.
November is Native American Heritage Month. And so we don't have a high population of Native American students here, so we always try to at least do something.
After the dancers had each showed a traditional dance, they invited the audience to join them for a social powwow, and then answered questions about their specific tribes or indigenous culture in general.
There's a lot of different diversity between our cultures and everything, and you know, it's important for us to explain the history of our different tribes and to explain that we are all different, but we are all, at the same time, we are all Native people and we respect each other.
It was good to see that the students had a variety of questions and that you know, they were able to get an understanding of a different culture that they may not have gotten here at Missouri Western.
While the event was flashy and fun, the dancers expressed that each of their moves was a part of something very personal and very sacred.
It feels really good just to dance, and you know, we get into spiritual mindset, and we're thinking positive thoughts, we're thinking of good intentions of the people, we're trying to honor the people, we're trying to bless the people.
For Griffon Update, I'm Brendan Welch.
The Native dancers hope to come back to Western in the near future to share their culture with even more Griffons. Coming up, a look at the arts at Missouri Western. We'll be right back.
Missouri Western's orchestra took an audience from St. Joe to Norway and back this week. Brendan Welch was there to soak in the strings.
The sounds of strings, horns, and drums could be heard throughout Potter Hall Monday night as Western's orchestra performed. The ensemble performed an extremely diverse selection of pieces, ranging from romantic music from St. Joseph native Arthur Pryor to Norwegian sounds from Edvard Grieg. Jazz pieces were also performed, including the saxophone-heavy swing song Take 5, composed by Paul Desmond and made famous by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Director of orchestral music Rico McNeela, who is also the music director for the St. Joseph Symphony, said the mixture of sounds was a way to help the student musicians.
Part of the process involves trying to broaden the musical range and stylistic skills of the players. So by programming a wide range of music, they get a chance to try their skills developing.
While the musicians are at different skill levels and different aspects of playing, McNeela was happy with how well the show went.
University orchestra like this is always going to be a mix of young players and more experienced players as they're getting ready to graduate and those that are just coming in. But they've come a long way in terms of being able to listen to each other, to focus on phrasing and shaping and all of the other intricate things, the thought processes that go into playing well. So I was pleased.
The musicians enjoyed the show just as much, if not more, than the audience. That is, once the pre-show jitters wore off.
I was really nervous on that first piece, and then when we left and came back on, it was as if my nerves just went away, and I was just playing the music, and that's what I absolutely love. Not worrying about the audience anymore, and just doing what makes the music just great. It's just, performing it.
Anna has been playing trumpet since 5th grade and found out directly after the show that she was selected to be one of 10 trumpet players to compete in a band at the Missouri Music Educators Association Conference, which is just another step for making her dreams come true.
My number one goal is to actually be in an orchestra and then teach on the side.
The maestro urges everyone to come enjoy the music of the orchestra for their future shows. For Griffon Update, I'm Brendan Welch.
The orchestra invites everyone to come and watch their sounds, so keep an eye out on Missouri Western's website for the next show.
Hey Brent, have you ever read Shakespeare or acted in a Shakespearean play?
Well, I've never read anything or acted in one, but I saw that one with Leonardo DiCaprio and it was really good.
All right, fair enough. Well, this is the complete work of William Shakespeare. How long do you think it would take to perform all of these plays?
I don't really think we have enough time for that.
Well, here at Missouri Western, our theater department performed the complete works of William Shakespeare in 93 minutes. Reporter Brooke Anderson shows us how it all came together.
Change is gonna go. Where are you going? Why are you coming back? Back here! No, Antonio!
The Department of Theater, Cinema, and Dance closes the fall 2015 semester with a production of The Complete Works of Shakespeare. We went behind the scenes to find out how it all came together.
At first you look at it and go, well, there's not really a whole lot of structure to it, but there's definite structure. But there's also a lot of free form play with it, so it definitely doesn't function like any of the other plays that we've done here. It just doesn't work the same way.
The play is basically about all of Shakespeare plays into one show, but it all goes downhill after a while. Like the main goal is to just perform Shakespeare, but the plan it just fails along the way. So they make up a lot of stuff along the way and just put on the best show as possible, but it all becomes just a carbuncle of mess.
The show is thick with humor and promises to have audiences laughing by the end of the play. The comedy stems from the actors' ability to improv and large amounts of audience participation.
Basically, the comedy is basically putting our own kind of sense of humor into it, bringing raw and sarcastic nature into it, me with physical comedy and whatnot.
You'll have actors that will be on stage and they will actually directly address a member of the audience. How are you doing tonight? And it's not a rhetorical question as it would be in any other type of event. It's more like a kind of a stand-up type of feel. It's more of the type of thing where they would say, they'll expect an answer, and if they don't get it, they might not speaking the right language or something.
I just want the fans or audience to have a good time. Like, this show is all about audience participation. It's about the intimacy. That's why we're doing it in Kemper, because it's a smaller theater and it's way more intimate. And we're going to use the audience a lot, and you guys are going to just laugh and laugh and laugh, because this is a completely ridiculous show. So you have to laugh throughout the whole entire thing.
The production took place December 10th through the 13th in Kemper Hall. To find out more about upcoming shows, visit the department website at missouriwestern.edu/theater and cinema.
For more information about upcoming shows or their various degree programs, contact the Department of Theater, Cinema, and Dance at 816-271-5664.
Huzzah! It's that time again, Missouri Western.
What are you talking about?
Ye Madrigal Feast. It's one of those holiday celebrations that go on in Missouri Western.
Is that thing where they eat a lot of turkey legs? Because I don't know that much about it.
That's all right. Reporter Melissa Castor is on scene and is here to tell us all about the festivities.
Ye Olde Madrigal Feast has been a fixture on Missouri Western's campus for 6 years. The feast was originally founded by Laurel Vardavedian. She and her husband, President Vardavedian, have been big advocates for Missouri Western's expanding art program.
Missouri Western, for the most part, is all about the fine arts. They really enjoy the fine arts department. Dr. Vardavedian absolutely seems like he loves coming to all the fine arts department programs. So this is just another way of us showing that we are just as important as some of the things like football, basketball, some of the big top-notch things up there.
Ye Olde Madrigal Feast is a fun romp through the Elizabethan era. The event has been held annually since 2009, and it takes place in the weeks preceding Christmas break. Ye Olde Madrigal Feast emulates the traditional Elizabethan Christmas for the royal court. This included singing, plays, and revelry to bring in the new year. This program incorporates the talents of Missouri Western's choir and theater department. Many costumes for the event were made or owned by the theater department. Ye Olde Madrigal Feast was directed by Dr. Elise Hepworth. She was pleased to announce that this year boasted a greater turnout than any other feast before it. As a result, some of the performers brought in their own costumes to free up the existing ones for others.
The school provides most of them. This is my personal Renaissance costume because I like it. Like, I go to the Renaissance Festival every year. So this is my personal costume, but most of them are provided by the school. Yeah, well, we had an expansion. The group expanded a lot this year, and Dr. Hepworth was afraid that we wouldn't have enough costumes for everybody. I was like, well, I have my own costume, and I would rather wear it. So she was like, yeah, that'll work. That's why I look a little different than everybody else that's wandering around.
Missouri Western hosts events like Ye Olde Madrigal Feast to show our students and the community that though we do believe in serious education, we also believe in having fun along the way. This has been Melissa Castor for Griffon Update.
Love and joy come to you, and to you the old wassail too, and God bless you and send you a happy new year, and God send you a happy new year.
For more information about attending or participating in Ye Olde Madrigal Feasts next year, please contact Dr. Elise Hepworth. We'll be right back. Okay, as you know, I'm the all-knowing when it comes to sports ball, but not really. But before we call Amari in here for a sports report, this time we have a sports report of a different kind. You won't find grass or asphalt here, though, at least not physically. Esports is one of the most rapidly growing fields, especially for college students. Reporter Billy Nolan takes us into the amazing world.
Esports. It's a term you may have heard before. It normally refers to a multiplayer game that the multiplayer has such a large competitive scene that you can actually make a career out of playing that video game. These esport video games come in many shapes and sizes. Some you probably actually own. You can do anything from play soccer with rocket-powered cars to being a whole new character in a mythical world, or many third-person shooter games such as Call of Duty or Star Wars Battlefront have a huge tournament scene. But just what has caused esports to go from a mostly obscure thing to the growing industry that it is today?
Probably the accessibility to it, because most people can go out, buy a decent computer, and play these games that they can watch being played professionally. Someone who's playing video games casually, they're playing to strictly have fun. The game isn't about how necessarily well they do, it's not about what rank they have, it's about what enjoyment are they getting from the game. Whereas someone who wants and strives to play professionally, they're going to look at what do I need to do to improve, what do I need to do to have better reaction time, to do my best, to find out what aspect of the game that I'm best at so I can practice on that, what aspects am I bad at so I can practice on that. There's a lot more when it comes to wanting to learn professionally than when you just want to play casually with your friends and have a good time.
There are also many college students in these competitive scenes, as video games are an essential part to many people's college careers. Even amongst a busy college schedule, many students are able to find time to grind away to get their rank up in their game of choice.
Well, esports to me is a online format where people get together and they play competitive competitions as far as like a team is concerned, and like there's tournaments, there's team structures, there's a level of and there's a high level skill like a skill aspect to the game as well. Like maybe like football, baseball, basketball, all these different have a skill aspect to it, and esports is no different. So whether you're talking about something like Rocket League or something like League of Legends or any of those type of games, those are basically the types of games you would play, but there's just a whole wide spectrum of them as far as like streaming is concerned, so it is a pretty big deal.
So whether you know all about esports, or if this is your first time hearing about it, it's grown to a multi-million-dollar industry, so it might be just about time for you to pick up your controller. For the Griffon Update, this has been Billy Nolan reporting.
Man, all that sports talk makes me miss my PlayStation. When we get back, Amari will bring you her sports report with a special guest. We'll be right back.
You're my advisor. Why can't you just pick my classes for me?
Look, I'm in a hurry. Can I just get my pen and go?
My brother's been here before, so he'll help me sign up for classes.
But your brother was a biology major, not an engineer.
Yeah, but he knows like everybody.
I'd like one more semester of easy classes.
What do you mean it's not offered until next year?
But it's been noted in the course catalog that way this whole—
But I need that class to graduate with my boyfriend.
This is a great degree plan.
Thanks. I made it in University 101. My peer mentors helped me a lot.
Let's use this time to talk about your graduate school track. Here are some internships and practica that you may want to consider. Also, we can start—
Take ownership of your education. Make the most of your advisement by being proactive, punctual, and prepared. You'll open the door to more personalized attention and avoid costly setbacks. It's never too soon to begin planning your next steps at Missouri Western.
Welcome back. Joining me today is Missouri Western basketball standout and now Griffon Update reporter Trez Colbert. Trez, you went from being the leader of the men's basketball team to now sideline reporting. How was that transition?
It's a different transition for sure, but I'm happy with what I did on the court, and I'm happy with what I'm doing now. Griffon Update and interning and stuff. This is what I plan on doing in the future, so I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Your basketball days aren't completely over. I heard you've been practicing with the women's team. What is that like?
It's fun. There are a lot of competitors. They bring back one of the top players in the country, LaQuinta Jefferson. She's coming off a great year last year. She's averaging 21 points a game this year, and she's shooting over 60% from the field. So, I mean, the team is tough.
To top it off, the girls are ranked nationally. They're number 18 with a record of 7-0. They beat UCM for the first time since 2007 at UCM. And then last week came back and won a close one at Southwest Baptist. So what does this tell you about this women's team?
It tells a lot about the team. To go out on the road at UCM and to beat them on their home floor, I mean, it tells a lot. And then to go to Southwest Baptist and beat a tough team on the road in a tough environment, it tells a lot about the team. And they're well coached. Coach Edmondson, he's been doing a great job. So, I mean, the team is good.
Let's talk about this Southwest Baptist game. The girls trailed at one point by 13 points and had 4 starters in foul trouble.
Yeah, that's just a part of the game, you know. A few players went down, a few players stepped up. Millie came up big, Serafina came up big. They both combined for 24 points in the second half, and they came out with the win. Chelsea Dewey had a great game. She came up big down the stretch, so the team is looking scary, and it's going to be a scary team in the playoffs.
I can't wait to see these girls ball out on Thursday.
Me either.
We'll be right back to discuss the men's team.
Missouri Western, ranked 17 in the nation, hosts undefeated Pittsburgh State. Millie Koya-Monavari set the tone for the Griffs as she gets to the basket and gets the up and under layup. She finished with 13 points. Western was great defensively, getting the stop. They forced Pitt State into 19 turnovers. Coach Edmondson wants his team to play fast. Chelsea Dewey says no problem. Getting to the rim, coast-to-coast finish. She ended with 9 points. The Griffs' largest lead of the game was 21 points, but the Gorillas made a run of their own. Kathy Brugman made some good plays down the stretch. Coach Edmondson's not feeling it, telling his team to keep their foot on the gas. LaQuinta Jefferson says, "Say no more, Coach." She finished with 24 points in the game. She had 16 points in the first half. The late run for the Gorillas wasn't enough as Missouri Western wins 83-75 and gets their 8th win of the season.
There's always room to grow, especially a team like that. We got different weapons in different spots, so like it's never like an opportunity to not get better.
This team's got to keep earning it. We got to earn the respect of everybody that plays us. We got to earn the respect of our own people that come support us. I thought though for a couple of quarters you saw what this team can do when they're locked in.
It hasn't been a great start for the men's basketball team. So far, they only have a record of just 2-6, and they lost a few close games. Trez, what do you think about this men's team?
It's been a rough start for sure. They dropped a few games that I know that they wish they can get back, but that's a part of basketball. A few players that are struggling with consistency. They are without one of their top forwards, Seth Boniface. He's out due to a nose injury, but I think through time this team is going to get better. Coach Weiber, he's going to get his troops ready to play.
Well, they had a tough non-conference game, but they're finally back at home this week. It should feel good to be playing back on your home court, right?
Of course. You know, you got your fans, you got the student section, you got people, your family ready to watch you play. And, of course, as a player, you know where all the hot spots is. So, I mean, they'll be ready. And plus, they bring in one of the top teams in the conference, Pitt State, on your home court. That's a game you got to win. I think they'll be ready.
Well, me and Trez will be at this game on Thursday.
Thanks, Amari. Well, that's our show.
For all of us here at Griffon Update, thank you for watching.
For more news and information about Missouri Western and the surrounding region, tune into Griffon Update on Channel 39.
Or catch us on the Griffon Update Vimeo channel and Missouri Western student media page.